Right, okay guys, welcome to another video where I take a look at, it's not my favourite top 10 games and it's not the best top 10 games, it is the 10 games that I played most back in the day. I keep saying this and people keep telling me you've missed this game out, you've missed that game out. Like I says, this is not the best games at all. There's tons of great games that I've missed out. This is purely a list, the sort of top 10 games that I played back in the day when I had an Amiga. So to kick things off, it's obviously racing games, as you can probably tell from the title. Kicking things off is Micro Machines. Now this, I think, was originally released, was it on the NES by Codemasters? And then I think it also had a port on the Mega Drive. Now I didn't own either of these machines at the time, so getting to play this on the Amiga was excellent because I'd heard lots of good things about it. Such a simple game, but you know, hugely fun to play. And given the sort of the quite a narrow screen, you don't get much of time to react. So I think it's one of these games, the more you sort of played it, you would get to know the courses, especially some of the courses where you can sort of fall off the edge of the table and that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's a really good series of games, this. I mean, I think they're still making them. I think is there one that came out recently in the PS4? Certainly there's other games. I've got one in the PS4 actually, it's quite similar to this. It's not Micro Machines, but it's very similar. But yeah, the ingenuity and the sort of the originality with the graphics were really nice. I think was it the NES? No, it wasn't the NES one. Was it the Mega Drive one? I think had sort of multi-tap. Did the cartridge itself allow up to 4 people to play it? Something like that. Really basic driving games, but enormous fun. My favourite was the pool table. I don't know if I'll get to see this. I can't remember where that actually, when that one kicks in. Desktop drop-off. Now the characters were always very stereotypical. You probably wouldn't get away with this game, you know, now. It wasn't stereotypical in a bad way, but you know, it was just the look and names of some of the people. And I've made a complete pig's ear of this one. Now I think that's the edge of the table there. Whoa, it certainly is. Trying to play this with a gamepad isn't easy, although saying that would have been you would have played it with a gamepad on the Mega Drive and the NES. But yeah, that's a great game. I love that game to bits. That is Micro Machines. Next up, Skidmarks. Now it's not a bad toilet habit, it's a rather nice driving game by a company called Acid Software. I don't think they made an awful lot, to be honest with you. Now the thing about this game is, I got was it PC? Not PC, it was Amiga Power gave away a demo disc with, I think it had either 1 or 2 tracks, and me and my mate played it non-stop. And when I eventually got the full game, which I'm going to let you see here, it just didn't feel quite as good as the demo, but it's still an amazing game. There is a hell of a, I mean, I've edited this video, there's a hell of a lot of loading. It's multi-disc. And here we go, I'm the little yellow car. It's the handling of the cars, it's just fantastic. You're skating about like nothing on earth. You know, it was like taking Super Sprint and just enhancing it big style. It was a game, I think it got released, was it Super Skidmarks, I think, on the Mega Drive? I think it also, I think there was Skidmarks 2, or was it Skidmarks AGA, and I'm sure there was Super Skidmarks on the Amiga as well. But this was the one that I played a lot. But in particular, the demo that Amiga Power gave away was just absolutely wonderful. Simplistic graphics, but just, you know, absolute awesome gameplay. You can change cars and whatnot. So anyway, that is the mighty Skidmarks. Loved that game, played it a lot. Next up, now this is a surprise game for me back in the day, Crazy Cars 3. Now, if you had an Amiga in the early days, you may remember the first two games called Crazy Cars and Crazy Cars 2, and they were possibly two of the worst games ever written. They were absolutely abysmal. It was a typical example of a company just putting out nice graphics and not bothering their arse to put in any gameplay. The movement, the graphic, or the sort of basic graphics looked nice until it started moving. It was a terrible game, and so when this game came out, nobody expected anything, and what a surprise. You may actually recognise this game from my intro. Yeah, movement's excellent. Real arcadey. Now the game that really kind of kicked off the racing games on the Amiga was Lotus Turbo Challenge. And I was lucky enough to talk to the writer, the programmer, Sean Southern. If you've never seen the interview, check it out. Sean's a really nice guy. But yeah, Lotus really made people aware of just, you know, how capable the Amiga was, and then very quickly other companies started to follow suit. This being one of them. But when a game's done this well, then you don't mind people copying them. At least I don't, not as a consumer. The more the better. What I liked about this as well is you could actually, you probably saw at the start, you could actually kind of gamble and make money. The more money you get, the more upgrades and that kind of stuff you get as well. But yeah, tremendous feeling of speed. I like the sort of colours as well in this game. This was probably one of the racing games that I played the most. I think I liked the graphics. I liked the fact that there was a kind of an aim to it rather than just finishing the course. But yeah, that is Crazy Cars 3. I think it was also known as, was it American something Challenge it was called. But great game. Yep, we couldn't miss this one out. This is a very early game. This is Buggy Boy. Now this was one of the earliest games that I just thought looked incredible. Graphically wise, to me this looked like the arcade one. Huge big graphics. It doesn't look as big now, but you know, back in 1987, 1988, whenever it was. Oh. Yeah, and it kind of a higher res as well. Everything's really clean looking. Quite simple now when you look at it. But great fun. Basically you got to try and go through the gates, try and not crash into anything. I think there's logs you can use to kind of jump over things and pick up the flags. You get points. You've also got flags that, or it's not flags, it's the ones you go on, yeah, time. There you go. If you go through that, you stop time. I remember seeing this in the arcade in Bathgate, and it was I think it was like a 3-screen affair. It was massive. Always remember thinking it looked really blocky looking though. There's a great version of this on the Commodore 64 if you've never seen it. They didn't try and duplicate the big graphics. They just basically took the core elements of the game, what made the game fun, and they adapted it to run in the C64, and they did a cracking job. And a lot of people's eyes, the Commodore 64 version of Buggy Boy is the one to play. Some people even say it's more fun than the arcade one. So there you go, you can't get a better recommendation than that. But like I says guys, this is not the 10 best driving games. It's not at all. There are tons of fantastic games that I've not included. It is merely a list of 10 games that I played the most when I had my Commodore Amiga. Because people keep saying to me, why did you miss that game out? Oh, I don't agree with that one being there. It's not a question of it's good or bad, it's a question of these were the games that I played back in the day. So that was Buggy Boy. Right, next one up is a game that it probably went under the radar with a lot of people, but I really enjoyed it, and it was called No Second Prize. And what made it quite unusual was its polygon graphics. It's a motorbike driving game with polygons. And what made it nice is you could use the mouse to control it, which made for a really nice control method. However, it is damn difficult. It's a very, very difficult game, as I shall no doubt demonstrate. So let's just go for we'll go for automatic. Now, if you can hear a noise in the background, I've got a dog that just detests anybody walking outside. You know, what gives anybody the right to walk outside? My dog does not like that at all. So if you hear any moaning, it's him. So yeah, this is No Second Prize. Even I'm running this on an emulator. Even now, it looks really nice. Yeah, it's basic. You know, when you've got stuff like Gran Turismo Sport and Drive Club, driving games look so basic, but this was one of the few polygon games I actually remember. What I liked about this game was they deliberately kept it a sort of clean, minimalistic look, which meant that it ran really well. Now, it ran well on the Amiga 500, but it ran even better on the 1200. Now, I'm proving here how difficult it is, because if you think, well, wait a minute, you're doing pretty well, you're passing lots of guys. Once I actually get to go the right way again, you'll notice there that I was in 6th place to start with, and I'm still in 6th place. So they have, it's a bit like, I was going to say pole position. It's not like pole position at all. It's like some driving games where you have people you've got to try and beat, but they throw in all these kind of computer generated riders just to kind of make up the numbers a wee bit. But these guys I've passed don't actually count, as you can see. Yep, still in 6th place, but yeah, it's a really nice game. If you've never seen it, go and try it out. It is a tricky game. You can use joystick or you can use mouse. I would always say use the mouse, because the way you kind of tilt into, you use the left mouse button to brake, right mouse button to accelerate, and obviously you can, you know, left and right allows you to kind of tilt into the corners. It's a really pretty game, and I says it was one that probably didn't sell that well. It probably went under the radar for most people, but definitely worth checking out. And I did put a lot of time into this, although I was never very good at it. But I just thought the graphics looked amazing. Yeah, that is No Second Prize. Right, this game needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce it anyway. This is Turbo Challenge 2. Written by Sean Southern and Andrew Morris. Now, I was talking to Sean Southern a couple of weeks ago. I interviewed him, and I always imagined a game like this would have been written by a massive number of people. You know, I didn't realise it was only 2 people. It was him and Andrew Morris. Andrew did the graphics, I think. Sean did the actual programming. I think they go, was it Barry Leach? Did he do the sound? I think it might have been him. But yeah, this is a sequel to the game that really kick-started the Amiga racing games. It made people realise that, wait a minute, this Amiga of ours is capable of some cracking games. Now, I like the first Lotus Turbo Challenge because it was kind of more like a racing game, whereas you know, with laps. Whereas this one, the sequel, is more like well, what Sean told me was they tried to make it like Outrun. And as you can see here, they've done a fantastic job. I mean, this is the first time I've played it for quite a number of years, and when you think about it, it's all, you know, all these graphics are hand drawn. You know, it's just a sprite based driving game, and it is clever. It's such a well put together game, it really is. The draw distance, you know, it really gives, even now it looks impressive. There was a third game which I wasn't keen on. I mean, Sean admitted to me that at that point they were starting to kind of run out of ideas. They're like, well, what can we do now? So they kind of put it in sort of outer space. Now I did do a video about Gremlin graphics, and I did sort of say I wasn't keen on the third one, and quite a few people were upset with my comments, but at the end of the day it's just my personal opinion. I think I probably like the first one the most, but this one, the second one, is very close behind. Obviously these driving games, it was all digital controls, so it was like, you know, there was no analog steering, so it was either full on left, full on right. You couldn't just gradually go around. Just used to kind of tap the joystick. But this game, it just, as I says, the games that came before this were bloody awful, and people thought, nah, the Amiga isn't capable of doing a good game, a good driving game. Then this came along and it just completely, it showed people, yep, the Amiga is a capable machine. And after this game, the sort of floodgates opened, and there was quite a few sort of games very similar, one of which I already showed you, Crazy Cars 3, but Crazy Cars 3 is a great game as well, so I was happy. Now, one thing that some people didn't like was, why did they not have the music in the in-game? There's no music, and I think what Sean told me was they just wanted it to be like a real proper driving experience, where you're getting to hear the actual sound effects. Now, I must admit, I tend to agree with Sean. When I'm playing driving games, I don't want music playing. You know, far too many games have, you know, heavy metal soundtracks. I would rather just have the sound effects, so it's like you're in a real car. But anyway, that is a wonderful Lotus 2. Next up, again, no surprise to have this one in my pick, my top 10. Well, it's not my top 10, it's my 10 games, I keep saying that. Stunt Car Racer, programmed by Jeff Cramond. It's a game I would love to see remade. I don't know why they've never remade it. Is it TrackMania? I think it's kind of similar to this. I've never actually played it. But this game really gave you the impression of being there. Yep, probably looking at it now, you'll be thinking, whoa, look at the basic graphics, you know. And yeah, you'd be right. The graphics are very basic, but go back to what, I don't know, 1990, whatever it was when this came out. This game was just incredible. And what made it even better was, I mean, you're only racing around the track against one person. Now, that's a computer-controlled car in front of me. If you're linked up to Amigas together using, was it the parallel port? Oh, don't fall off. You could actually race each other. Now, half the challenge of this game is just staying in the track and trying to judge the jumps properly. If you under jump them, then it's going to end in disaster. But then conversely, if you over jump them, you end up landing heavily. Now, you'll see there at the top of the sort of red frame, there's a big crack on the left hand side. Basically, when that crack goes all the way around the top, then it's game over. Now, holding forwards makes you go forwards. Pressing the fire button, whoa, makes you've got the afterburners, but you've only got a limited supply. I love the creaking noises. It really sounds like, oh, the sound of clanking metal. Ah, bollocks! Oh, how did I manage? Ah, right. Where's it going to put me? I was just coming up to a jump there. Right, you know what? I don't think I've got a hope in hell of making this, because I need to have good speed. Nah, it's put me right in the very end, and now I'm at the bottom, so there's no way I am going to be able to get back up there. That's the only slight downfall to this game. There's sometimes it was quite unfair where it put you, but an amazing game. Try the ski jump. That is an awesome track. But yeah, brilliant game. That's Stunt Car Racer. Right, this one, Vroom. Again, it's another one of these games that probably kind of went under the radar for a lot of people, but hopefully you'll see in a few seconds just why I played this game so much. I mean, there was a plethora of racing games, you know, F1 racing games. There was obviously the... Is it Jeff Crammond? Yeah, it was Jeff Crammond that did Formula 1, Microprose Formula 1. I didn't include that in my list because I never played it much. I just found it too difficult. Yeah, this game, basically it's an arcade racer. It is ridiculously fast as well. Quite basic graphics, but the update, the actual opponents, the way they update is really good. It really felt like you were actually driving a car, and you can also use the mouse as well, which gives a really good impression, or it gives a good, nice kind of subtle control. I think there was a, I don't think it was so much a sequel, but there was certainly a data disc that came up with more tracks. But yeah, this was a game, again it was a copy I had of this. I remember going to the local open air market, and the guy is like, Vroom, and I'm like, what is Vroom? And he said, oh, it's a Formula 1 racing game, and I thought, oh, I'll buy it, it's probably going to be shite. And I was really surprised at just how good a game it is. Yeah, compared to a lot of them it's quite basic, you know, the graphics are quite basic, but again it's minimalistic, and it's quick, it's smooth, it's fast. It really makes you feel like you're actually driving a car. But there's, well, I've got how many? Two games to go. There are so many good games in the Amiga. I mean, games I didn't include: Supercars 2, like I said, Microprose Formula 1, was it IndyCar Racing, I think it was, Nigel Mansell's Racing. There were so many. You were really spoiled for choice in the Amiga. Obviously the first Lotus game, and also the third one as well. I like the sound, the way the sound changes when you're going through the tunnel as well, so nice little attention to detail. And Mount Fuji in the background. So that is Vroom. Right, second from last, guys, this is Jaguar XJ220, and this was by Core, I think it was. Now again, Lotus was the game that kick-started this genre of Formula 1 game, genre of racing game in the Amiga, and then clones followed, this being one of them, but again, this is a really nice version. Music in the Amiga games is just astonishing. How do we, what's that, is that speed difficulty or something? Exit, does that get us into the game? Yeah, you can choose the soundtrack that you want. This one, yeah, again it was kind of done all over the world. This was England. I'm sure there was one based in Scotland and it had fog and rain, which is pretty much accurate, unfortunately. So again, very similar to Lotus. You know, graphics are super detailed, the updating is really good. What I liked about this one is it had things like, sort of like real life traffic stuff, like, I'm sure it has like traffic cones and that kind of stuff as well. There's a little advert for computer and video games there, Core and also Jaguar. Somehow I don't think people who are going to buy a Jaguar would be playing this game. Possibly they would, I don't know. I'm sure this game had some really nice weather effects. It's probably been about 30 years since I last played this game. A distinct lack of enemy cars, not enemy cars but rivals I should say. And it's surprisingly just how challenging these games were, because you'd be thinking to yourself, well, how difficult can it be, because it's just left and right, you know, there's no analog controls, but you know, the speed at which it actually played, it did make for quite a challenging game. But it was one of these games you wanted to get to the next level just to see what the graphics are going to be like. You know, the different weather effects and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that is Jaguar XJ220, and that was by Core. And the last one, guys, is probably a game you're thinking, why has he included this? Well, again, Continental Circus. I remember playing this in arcades, and I thought this was an excellent conversion. It was pure arcade driving. The sound, the graphics in this version are just brilliant. A slow start. There we go, finding my feet now. Interestingly, this game in arcades actually had a sort of 3D view. They had a sort of a glass thing you could look through. I love the sound effects. Now, it's one of these games, yes, you sustain damage, but if you pit in, it will repair you, but in my case, I just blow up into a fireball. But it looks very, very simple, and it is quite a simple racing game, but I enjoyed it. I played this a lot when I got it. I thought the graphics looked excellent. It's probably not the smoothest game. I mean, I dare say I think this game came out before the Lotus games, but I dare say if they used the Lotus sort of engine, they could make an even better version. As they could do a cracking version of Outrun. That would be really, really nice to see. Maybe that's what we need, a Kickstarter for somebody to do Outrun, but the fact that Outrun is owned by Sega, I think the chances of it happening are zero. But anyway, guys, listen, that is it for another video. So that is it's not my top 10 games, it's not my top favourite games, it's not the 10 best driving games, it is the 10 games that I probably played the most back when I had an Amiga. So yeah, anyway guys, as usual, thank you very much for watching.